According to the center, over 60 people received vaccines here today. Vaccines like this one. Many of the flowers and candles that once covered the steps of the Supreme Court have since been removed. Tonight, hundreds gather at the steps of the Supreme Court mourning the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Hands-only CPR just takes compressions. And according to the American Heart Association, you can learn it in a few minutes and it still helps save lives. Since there always needs to be a person manning the vigil, protesters take shifts, pulling up a seat and sitting for as long as they can. Here, this is of all the counties in Arizona. And for the general trend for the country, the cases are decreasing. Here's the Maricopa County line right here. Protesters have been here gathering for hours. Polls have been starting to close. And here, it's a little bit of an party atmosphere. De acuerdo de este centro, cerca de 60 personas recibieron vacunas contra la gripe y otras enfermedades. Yes, thank you, Brianna. We have beautiful clear skies today and beautiful temperatures, but they will not be clear skies for long. We are going to see some clouds kind of roll in here. For about a week, patients spend so much time in rooms like this one. But when they go out in the hallway, they find healing right on the walls. Developing now, asylum seekers will no longer be sent to Mexico.
La salud oral es uno de los problemas que enfrentan muchas de las personas de las naciones indígenas.
Little Andrea Ramirez waits, watching her older brother get his flu shot. Vaccines aren't something that she and her siblings see every day. 2 shots and a few tears later, it's all over, the seat ready for the next person.
It is very kind of them because it is helping us.
Lopez, like other migrants, found shelter at La Casa del Migrante in San Luis Rio Colorado, Sonora, Mexico. Here, they wait their turn. Their goal is to get political asylum in the United States.
We came to this house and thank God because they supported us, all migrants.
The director of this shelter says he makes sure they have what they need, including clothes, a bed, food, and a roof.
We have this room for 10 people.
But getting political asylum is a difficult task. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection in the fiscal year 2019, close to 290,000 migrants were found inadmissible, and close to 860,000 were apprehended. So far this fiscal year, close to 72,000 were found inadmissible, and close to 104,000 were apprehended.
I am afraid that the United States won't welcome me with my mom and will send me back. We are afraid to return to El Salvador.
Another problem that they may encounter when they cross the border is the lack of vaccines. According to a letter sent to Congress from Congresswoman Rosa de Lauro, Customs and Border Protection does not want to provide vaccines to migrants.
Alarmingly, we have recently learned that CBP's decision not to vaccinate against this preventable disease ignores specific recommendations that the CDC made in January 2019.
We avoid illness. My little girl needs her vaccination because she hasn't received it since she was born.
According to the center, over 60 people received vaccines here today. Vaccines like this one, not just for the flu, but for the measles, mumps, and many other viruses. Organizations like the Mexican Red Cross and 100 Angels provide help, something that the migrants are very thankful for.
We hope we are making a good effort to prevent these diseases.
In the meantime, thousands of migrants continue to arrive at the border, looking for a better life, leaving their entire lives behind.
We don't have enough money to give our children well-being and a better life.
Even though the uncertainty of their future is always on their minds, they hold on to hope that a better life is out there.
Well, my future is to arrive in the United States with my mom because I want to give my mom and my little girls a better life.
Customs and Border Protection officials say they have comprehensive medical support services and can provide vaccinations as appropriate to those in U.S. custody. Groups like 100 Angels will continue to travel to the border cities to provide medical care to migrants. Fences, wooden boards, and barricades. Many buildings in downtown Washington have been covered up or fenced off as the nation's capital prepares for possible election night fallout, and people here are bracing too.
So we are expecting violence, like real violence, not just rioting and burning down something.
Nadine Seiler, an activist who maintains the Black Lives Matter display in Lafayette Square, said she hopes the talk of violence is just that, all talk.
I don't know if I think it's going to reach that, but I haven't made a decision, but I'm going to be here regardless.
But Seth Jones, the director of the Transnational Threats Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, believes the threat of election night violence is very real.
I think with the Democratic victory, probably more firearms and explosives.
But the type of public outcry depends on the winner of the presidential race, Jones said.
With something that's more like a Republican Democratic victory, presidential victory, more street level violence for political purposes.
When protests turn violent, Jones said local law enforcement is the best line of defense.
Now, when it comes to larger protests in cities, I think, the first line of defense has to be local law enforcement agencies.
Other groups are calling on a higher authority. The 24-hour National Strategic Prayer Call has set up shop this week north of the White House. One of its members, Richard Stoffel, believes that some rioters are there just for the violence.
The people that are actually doing the rioting, in some ways, they maybe don't really care.
Seiler says she has seen it all as she helps maintain the Black Lives Matter fence, but she said many have told her to buy a bulletproof vest.
We know the threat is real, but still part of me want to believe that on the whole, that there's more talk and it's more like trying to intimidate.
But she said that won't stop her from being present here.
I'm expecting tension, but I'm prepared for whatever.